Story time. So how my phone basically just destroyed my motivation. So if you all know me and if you all follow me on social media, on Saturdays are my long run days. I call them going on a mission. I tell my wife, Carly, I'm like, hey, I'm going on a mission, which means that I'm going on a long run, whether it's hot, whether it's freezing, and I'm hoping to get 10 plus miles and whatever happens, happens. So I'm in that mission mindset, or I call it like Saturday hell workouts where I'm doing some type of, high rock simulation where I'm like running around the loop of our neighborhood and then, hopping into our garage and doing some crazy stuff. Right. But those are very hard workouts. They're at the end of the week where I've already put in some 2-day sessions and everything. And so I'm pretty tired, but I have to be focused. I need to be motivated. But I realized going into these workouts, I was getting increasingly unmotivated, but it wasn't happening because I was like, tired. It was happening within 30 minutes before the workout started. I would wake up, I'd feel amped up, and then like 30 minutes before the workout started, I was like, I don't really want to do this. And it wasn't because of, again, the hardness of the workout. I realized what was happening was I would be on my phone, I'd be scrolling, I'd be watching YouTube videos or whatever, and I realized this was a difference because during the beginning of the week or during the actual weeks, I wake up and I'm like, okay, this is nice because I have my social media apps blocked for about 3 hours before anything, right? So I wake up about 4:45, social media apps are blocked until 8, and they block again a few hours later for the rest of my workday. So I'm not like really scrolling social media all day, every day. But on Saturdays, I wake up, have a little bit of a slower morning, wake up a little bit later, get out on the run, but I'm scrolling, I'm on YouTube, I'm watching vlogs that I think are going to motivate me, and they are, but then after that, I feel like I've gotten all the stimulus and I'm like, okay, now go out and do this hard thing for an hour and a half. And I'm like, well, I don't want to anymore. So it killed my motivation. So what I had to start doing was applying the same principles that I did throughout the week to the weekend, and it helped so much. Before you go any further, if you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel. We are trying to grow this thing, the Real Growth Playbook, to make sure that real conversations are had about real people and real things that we struggle with trying to get past them. So thank you all for watching, but yeah, subscribe. Again, if you are in this kind of phase where it's like, man, you're waking up and you're moving and you're like, why does my motivation feel so low? And you realize that you're scrolling, I'm going to give you 3 things that I do that really, really help me out and that I've really done on Saturdays too. Number 1, for the first 3 hours of your day, try to go no social media. This helps so much because you're able to be present and you're able to do the things that you actually want to do instead of just like looking for this thing that spikes your dopamine like really, really quickly. You're able to actually be more energized and more energetic, and you are able to do, if you have hard things that you're trying to do, I say like just do them in the morning. Because for me, when I work out and have a hard workout in the morning and I get that done, I feel great for the rest of the day because it took a little longer for me to get going and to kind of get that dopamine spike. But once I do, I'm like, it's because I did something hard because I earned it and I feel really, really good versus, okay, I'm just scrolling and now I'm crashing after. So first 3 hours of the day, if you can not do social media unless it's your job, absolutely do it. I highly suggest it. I love it. And it's weird because I'm like, yeah, sometimes I just want to sit and I want to scroll while I'm, in the bathroom, or I want to scroll while I'm, just like warming up on the treadmill or whatever, but it's not the best thing for me. And it's not the best thing for my mind, or it's not the best thing for how I want to get my day started. Number 2, this kind of like parlays into number 1. If you can, and if your schedule allows, work out before you go to any sort of social media. The reason being is because working out is something that's hard and it's tedious, and not every day you feel like doing it. You just don't feel like doing it. I'd say for me, sometimes like 50% of the days, I'm just like, okay, I have this hard workout. This is going to be tough. But halfway through the workout, I'm like, this is great. I feel really, really good. Like I'm in here. I realize that I'm capable. I'm improving myself. I feel better. I know that I'm better for it. And I'm reaching the goals that I have that are in place. And so by the time I get out of my workout and I go throughout my day and I start my day, social media apps are unblocked on my phone. And I don't even worry about it because I'm just like, I've just been already focused in kind of entrenched in my day and the enjoyment of my day that I forget that social media is even available. And that helps so much more because then I get into my workday and I'm like, well, I'm going to keep this productivity up. And so I don't need to be scrolling. I don't need to be doing the things that I probably shouldn't be doing anyway. And so I just get in and I find a flow that much better and that much easier. And then what it does too is like, it makes me assess what's actually important. And I used to sometimes when I wouldn't be on social media consistently, I would always feel like I'm itching. Like, I got to see what's on Instagram. I feel like I'm behind. I feel like something's happening without me. And then you end up losing that itch over time because you're like, I'm just so entrenched in my day and how I want my life to be, and the people around me and the people that I care about, the people that are physically near me, that it just doesn't really matter. And so that's something that's helped me out again. And it started from working out in the morning and being like, in order for me to be at peak condition from a workout standpoint mentally, I can't just be scrolling the phone. And then number 3, I try to plan my day in a way in which I'm not reliant upon my phone. So I saw this this podcast, and it might have been the Diary of a CEO, and it was talking about, dopamine and the phone and so on and so forth. And it was like even having the phone, on the desk can be like a trigger, because it's like you see it and then you want to go and open it. And what I realize is that happened to me all the time. I'd be like locked into work, and then I would see a text. And then I would answer the text, and I'm like, well, I'm already on my phone. Let me check Instagram. Or, let me check my email from my phone, which I'm on my laptop. Like, it just didn't make sense. So what I started doing was, okay, if I'm not relying upon my phone, if I don't have to use some two-factor authentication, I put my phone in my drawer. Now, do I do this all the time? No, I'm not perfect. But am I more cognizant of it? And do I focus on it more now? Absolutely. Because I realize, okay, if I don't need it, I don't need it. I can put it in my drawer. If people who need to reach me are the people who are at work and the people who are in this house, and then that's about it for the time being, right? And so it helps me stay focused, and it helps me make sure that I stay motivated throughout the day. And that's like what the essence of this video is, and that's the essence of what I hope that you get out of this is, the phone's not a bad thing. Social media is not a bad thing. These things aren't inherently bad, but it's how we use it, the time that they spend, the time that they take up, and then the areas in which we use them can end up being very, very detrimental, and then be very just unmotivating to us if that is our sole purpose instead of building life and doing those things. So again, I notice it when I was focused on running and everything, and then now I realize, that actually affects me in other aspects of my day, and let me change things up. And then when I did, I feel that much more motivated throughout my day. So hope this helps you.